Hello and welcome to another episode of the Morningscape podcast. I am Matt Moody, joined by DJ Mitchell to cover a massive Tuesday slate here in the NHL. DJ, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We got three podcasts before the All-Star break. So we got one coming at you for Tuesday, Thursday. Is that it? It's only two more.
Yeah, because I think every team's in action on
No,
Thursday, right?
well,
Yeah.
in theory, every team couldn't be in action because
Oh, well,
31. It's
right.
every team minus one.
Yes.
I don't know who that team is.
And
Probably
now
someone that's playing on Wednesday.
we go live to finding out who that one team is.
This whole podcast will be us debating who the team is until the last second. I can nearly guarantee it's someone playing on Wednesday, right? I mean,
That's
Toronto, Chicago, LA, and Calgary.
we're really doing this, aren't we?
I'm gonna
It's
guess.
it's LA.
Yep. See, nailed
Nice.
it.
Smart.
Smart. That was my
All right.
my plan was to look through those. So LA is the only team not playing on Thursday. So get ready for
Anyway,
that slate.
we've
We're
got
not gonna
12. We've got 12 games here on Tuesday, so let us just brush that aside as we discuss Thursday's 15-game slate and just cower in fear. Yeah, we got 12 games, so let's just go right into it. I mean, Monday was fine. The weekend was not great. I know you didn't play much. I got my ass
I didn't
handed to
play at all.
Yeah, so let's just go on from there and hit up this Tuesday slate. So the 12 games we have, also noteworthy because there are so many back-to-backs on Tuesday. We have like no lines for any of these games, so enjoy us guessing where the lines are going to end up on these games and then being wildly wrong. As in, Colorado was a plus 160 underdog to the Leafs today, which was wildly egregious, but okay. Anyways, here we go. New Jersey at Boston, New Jersey on a back-to-back, Carolina at Pittsburgh, Colorado road back-to-back at Montreal, Philly at Detroit, Detroit on a back-to-back. Obviously, they're playing at home right now. Or sorry, on Tuesday they're playing at home. Ottawa road back-to-back against St. Louis, Tampa road back-to-back against Nashville, Florida at Dallas, Buffalo road back-to-back at Edmonton, LA
Ruh-roh.
at Vancouver. Yeah, row indeed. Columbus at Vegas, the Rangers at Ducks, and Winnipeg at San Jose. So let's start. Probably two of the bigger news bits of the day came out of this New Jersey Boston game. Taylor Hall he missed Monday night's game against the Detroit Red Wings and will also miss Tuesday night's game. Did not go well for the Devils. They got shut out 3-0. And yeah, probably expect more of the same there. On the Boston side, kind of, I guess not scary, but Charlie McAvoy is sidelined due to an irregular heartbeat. So I guess he's out for a couple weeks to recover from an operation or something along those lines. So just keep an eye on how that will impact things going forward here for Boston. Other than that, I mean, I kind of covered the two main news bits. Are you interested in playing anyone here, Deej? The Boston one has just been incredible, as we may suspect. And, New Jersey without Hall may have some value.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking over their minutes right now for ice time. It doesn't look like any forward went over 18. So it doesn't look like anyone got a ton of time. It looks like they really spread the minutes through all four lines. So I'm not really thinking there's going to be anyone with like absurd value. But obviously, you're going to get guys like Palmieri who are pretty good rate shooters in like big spots with big upside. I don't think they get shut out again. I mean, that's something only the Sabres can really accomplish is getting shut out back to back. So I mean, I know they're missing Taylor Hall, who is definitely the best offensive player on that team, but I'm not saying like that Rask is out of the question by any means. Like he's definitely a fine play, even though he is 8,300 on DraftKings. But yeah, I mean, overall, this game is kind of like I probably won't have much from New Jersey. Maybe if news breaks that like Johansson is power play one, line one, I still probably wouldn't even play him, honestly. But I'm trying to think of someone like there really isn't anyone that maybe there really isn't anyone that sparks my interest on New Jersey.
I mean, I
Boston
think
won, but that's kind of what we say every show. So
yeah, that's pretty fair. I mean, Boston has been incredible lately. Have you? I don't know if you've been keeping up on the standings, but
yeah, they're
they've
fourth.
they've caught yeah they've almost caught entirely the Lightning. So that seemed like it was in the bag for them. But Boston is streaking right now. I do think that you are more than I think you're more than right to play the trio of Bergeron, Pasternak, and Marchand. Um, you know, obviously, it's going to take a lot for them to all crush value. Essentially, it'll take a good 3 goals between them to for you to like be in contention in GPPs, spending that much money on them. Um, but I think it certainly could be done. With McAvoy's injury, I think the main guy I want to keep an eye on is Matt. I think it's Grzelcyk.
I think
If
it's
you
guys like two.
Yeah, if you go to DraftKings, his last name is spelled GRZ. He is 2.9 on DraftKings. I would assume he's cheap on FanDuel as well. He's not a fantastic player or anything, but he's a young guy who's been called up. He's already playing on the power play with Boston. I think there's a chance that he gets top 4 minutes in this game. Between him, Adam McQuaid, and well, uh, yeah, I think between him and Adam McQuaid, I think one of them will get the bump to either play with Chara or Torrey Krug. So, that's a lot of conjecture on my part, but keep an eye on that. I like Grzelcyk in particular because he's already being trusted in an offensive role. And so I think he might be a good source of value for you. Let's go to Carolina at Pittsburgh. I'll lead it off here. I mean, Pittsburgh's actually been like they've not been incredible, but I think they've really turned around their shooting percentage.
Mhm.
They were really struggling as of probably the last time we podcasted, honestly. But headed into the new year, they were one of the worst teams in PDO with pretty good possession numbers. That's kind of corrected itself. They come back home to play a Carolina team that just got ran out of the building by Vegas. I guess that's not such a bad thing when you think about Vegas is the best team in the league as it stands. So props to DJ for calling that one. That Vegas would actually be good. But yeah, so I am kind of interested in these Pittsburgh guys here. I do think Crosby and Malkin are definitely GPP only, but I think Kessel has some merit in any format. He's just such an incredible player. He's so puck dominant on their power play with just a killer release. So I think he makes a lot of sense. Sadly, I guess the main values that we were seeing in Dominic Simon and Simone, whatever, and Daniel Sprong are just kind of falling by the wayside. Sprong got sent down to the AHL, and Simone only played I think 14 minutes last game without first power play time. So it's really tough to find value like you were before. Do you have any thoughts on this game here, or are you kind of staying away from Carolina, who's one of those DFS dead zones on most nights?
Yeah, I don't think I have a ton of interest in stacking, but I do think Crosby and Malkin are at kind of a value, especially Crosby. He's definitely at 7-1 is still a really nice value, I think, for his upside. I would say as of late, he's been a pretty good shot producer, and I think it's because he's been on a line with some guys that haven't been nearly as strong offensively. So he might be back with Kessel, it looks like, from last game. They definitely put him out there with Kessel a bit more, so we'll see. But I think he's a good one-off, or even going with Crosby Kessel might not be the worst idea in the world. But on the Carolina side, I think they're maybe the hardest team to find the right stack to go with if you wanted to. And I don't know if I really suggest it too much, but Aho will not play. He will definitely not play until after the All-Star break, it sounds like. So, I mean, really, you're kind of looking at do you want to go with Teravainen and Lindholm? I don't know. You know what I mean? Nothing sounds that great.
Yeah.
I would say it's more of a stay away for me than anything, but I don't mind Crosby as a one-off, or maybe one of these Carolina guys. Is there one that you like, kind of? I mean, Lindholm's really cheap, but
Yeah,
not
I
really
mean,
the minutes or the shots that I want.
it's really strange. I mean, I think it was just a factor that they were getting blown out. They kind of gave their big horses some rest because the line of Stahl, Lindholm, and Teravainen really just did not play much at all in the game on Sunday. So I think going back to the Lindholm well is fine. He had a monster game on Saturday, had 2 goals on 5 shots against the Red Wings. So while obviously I think that's a ceiling game for a guy like Lindholm. He's always a guy I've kept an eye on just because his rate numbers are fine, and he was actually one of the better primary point producers in the entire NHL. Like I think he's 22 right now, 23 maybe at most. So he's one of those young guys with a decent shot floor, a really good price, and usually plays a lot of minutes for this team. So I think he makes a bit of sense playing first power play and playing nominally on their first line. If he's not leading the team in minutes, I think that's more of a contextual factor than anything else. But pretty much the only place I would be looking to go here. So,
all right, let's move it on.
Yep, Colorado, Montreal. Colorado, 10 straight wins. Sadly, they finally were trailing in a game. I think they were trailing for all of 1 minute and 10 seconds before Yakupov tied it. But with that said, they had gone 9 straight games without even trailing here and just won their 10th in a row. So, do you have any interest in Colorado on a road back-to-back or in playing, red hot Max Pacioretty or any of these Canadians?
I think the first major note from this game is if you click on the goalie tab, you'll see Carey Price at home against a team on a road back-to-back at 7,300. That's pretty shocking to me. I kind of almost assumed Montreal could end up being favorited in this game, right? Like, we're not going to know now. But Montreal at home playing Colorado on a road back-to-back, very far from home. Carey Price at 7-3 is kind of shocking to me. Really playing into that narrative of like Colorado's streak, but that's kind of the first thing I noticed in this game. The second thing I would say is Pacioretty is definitely a really nice play. I know we only have one shot on goal that found the back of the net, but he's just been red hot as of late, and I think he's trying his best to get out of Montreal by playing his best hockey. That could be it. So,
I mean, or he's just really good at professional ice hockey and should never be traded. So,
I mean, Montreal.
Tomato, like whatever.
Well, he shouldn't be, but will he be? The answer is he French Canadian? No. So he's out of the block. I think this game probably actually has some decent pace to it, and I really don't mind targeting, either side of this at all. Really, are you looking away from Colorado 1 at all?
I really don't think I can rationalize their prices. I mean, McKinnon's now almost 8,000. Like he is at Connor McDavid price. Brent Burns is a full $700 less than. Like it just really doesn't make sense. I think like he's obviously spectacular. I hold nothing but great feelings towards Nathan McKinnon, just my homie. But
yeah, he's kind of like a pod favorite, except like I called him out earlier in the year, and that's what turned it around. So I think that's why he's got to be a pod favorite.
Yeah, I mean, you went out there and you were like, "Yo, Nate McKinnon, what you doing, bud?" Like, and then
he was like 5K.
He was. Yeah, no,
he was way down there. All right. Anyways, back to what you were saying.
So yeah, I mean, we've just ridden his price to its absolute pinnacle. I just don't think it's smart, given the fact, road back to back, like. Yeah, it just doesn't really make much sense, I think, to play Nate McKinnon here. I don't really have much interest in any of these Colorado guys, to be honest. I think this game's pretty much a stay away from me.
But even what about a guy like goalie take?
I don't know. I don't trust Montreal to score for Price, and I'm probably more looking to correlate with one of my stacks here on this slate, just because there's going to be so many options at every price point that I feel like I'll be able to make a lineup that's a little bit better correlated than relying on, like, I don't know, Matt Nieto to score or to not score or something stupid like that. So is Nieto even on the Avs anymore? Yeah, he is. Okay. Like, yeah, just silliness all around in this game.
But I don't think we mentioned who's centering Max Pacioretty. Would you like to be the one to share the news?
Charles Hudon has been playing center for Max Pacioretty.
Not the same power play, though.
not in the same power play, and his minutes really aren't all that high. So, I mean, if you're interested, that's certainly a way to cut off some of the average salary for your stack, which is something I love to do. But I think in this particular instance, I'm not really interested.
Fair enough.
Similarly, Philadelphia at Detroit. I mean, Detroit is a team that I almost never, ever, ever target. Just, I don't know. I don't even know if they're good or bad defensively. I just never do it. Mrazek did pull a shutout on Monday night, so even if I were into Philly, I think that would cloud my judgment. Again, I don't think the pace will be there here. For all of these guys on Philly, you're paying a pretty substantial price, like Couturier 7,000. So I think maybe the best play here is actually Shane Gostisbehere. He's been playing with Ivan Provorov, so I mean that's just a great spot I think for any defenseman to be in. And so when you're playing first power play and playing with Provorov, like I think you have merit at almost any price given how good of a shooter Gostisbehere is. So that's really the one play I think that I'm considering from this game.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I mean, they did. Philadelphia did put Konecny on their second power play unit. I know we were complaining last game that the last time we were podcasted that Konecny wasn't getting any power play time, but you have him on the line one, and then he ended up having an OT winner. I still think at 4-1 without the big minutes, and you're not really getting. I think he's like maybe, but I feel like I don't know what kind of player he is yet. But do you think we have any numbers to say Konecny could be in play, or what do you think is what kind of DFS build is going to be as we go in the future? I mean, a guy I think we should keep an eye on for sure.
I'm trying to think of a comparable right now. I mean, he's certainly a player that I'm interested in, given his first line role with this team. His shot rate is pretty strong. Man, I'm trying my best to find a decent compare. I feel like he's kind of similar to like a Teravainen type, where he's not necessarily like a cash lock whenever he plays, but he's just good enough to always be in consideration with monstrous upside because he is super talented, and I think going forward, given that he keeps his role, he should pay off a 4.1 salary on most occasions. So I don't hate that play, but again, I'm kind of trying to correlate, and I'm not sure who I would correlate with him because I think, I just don't think it's reasonable to play Giroux and Couturier at their prices currently.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I feel like this game is somewhat of a fade. I don't think I'd have much Detroit. They're on a home back-to-back, is that right?
No, they played in New Jersey.
Okay. Yeah, but there's really no one here. I mean, no, there's no really good value, I would say. Like, there's some guys in good spots, but I don't think I'd have anyone personally.
Yeah, Tyler Bertuzzi has been playing a really nice role for them.
Scored.
Did he score again?
Yeah, I was looking at the first goal. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I was looking at playing him, and his on-ice shooting percentage right now is like 13%. Pretty like I think 13 games now for him. But I mean, obviously, everything while he's out there is going in, so I don't think the points are sustainable. Obviously, if he keeps shooting like this, with barely 2 shots a game, I think 3.7. That's whatever. But top 6 guy for 3.7, never something to cough at snuff. I'm trying to think. I'm running out of words already. We're at the 4th game. Moving on
to the 5th.
St. Louis at Ottawa. St. Louis burned us bad on Saturday. The Royal us, in case you were going to say something, DJ, because I know you didn't play. Nope. In a just one of the cushiest matchups we've seen all season. Vegas had him as a minus 250 favorite against the Arizona Coyotes. If I said at home already, I apologize, but at home. And they laid an absolute egg. Like sometimes you see teams, they big favorites. They just kind of get goalied where the opposing goalie gets hot and they outshoot the team, but they lose like a 2-1 game or an empty netter, 3-1s. No, this was a complete and utter domination by no other than the Arizona Coyotes. At one point, I believe they were being outshot by the Coyotes like 25-6. Like it was that bad. So I think you're going to see a lot of people shy away from St. Louis here. I know Bobby Boom in the chat loves to hear about my expected goals model, without including the games going on right now. So Ottawa's game against Minnesota currently, without factoring in those stats. Using the past 10 games, St. Louis has by far the highest expected goals on the slate, just using that calculation. So I think this is a really good spot to go right back to the well. If you read my Fantasy Labs article on Saturday, one, I apologize because there weren't too many good plays in there. Secondly, I pointed out that on the season, Vladimir Tarasenko is actually besting Alex Ovechkin for the best iCourse per 60 in the NHL this season. All strengths, all everything, all inclusive. As I said in the article as well, we may never see Gretzky's records be broken, but if Tarasenko holds on to this for the entire season, this will be the first time in literally Alex Ovechkin's career that he hasn't been the league leader in iCourse per 60, which I think is really, really explanatory for why Tarasenko is such a good DFS option on a night-to-night basis. Like his shot rate is insane. So I think he's a great play here in what I think is one of the best matchups on the slate against a road back-to-back Ottawa team. And I think we're going to see people shy away from him given how just piss poor St. Louis was this weekend. So I know I talked for a bit, Deej, but do you want to highlight some of the other plays here on St. Louis?
Well, I could just give a little bit of St. Louis news. Jaden Schwartz did practice, but it sounds like he's not expected for Tuesday, but expected for Thursday. So I won't say anything because I know if I say he won't play, like one guy says Jaden Schwartz won't play tomorrow, but I'm not going to go with it because if I say he won't play, I guarantee he plays. So I'm just going to say, you know what? Jaden Schwartz probably will not play tomorrow, but he should be back for Thursday. So keep that in mind. But I do expect a skate tomorrow and hopefully some better understanding of what the lines could be. Part of me wants to say that like Steen, Stastny, Tarasenko will be the first line for some reason. Just kind of a thought. But I really don't know for sure. So I'm going to go with that line. Whatever line Tarasenko's on, I'll probably have a full stack of it.
Yeah,
unless if it's like Barbashev, and I don't think they're going to be on the power play together. Then I might
right. Yeah, no, I think Barbashev's a total stay away for like DFS purposes.
What about on defense? Is there anyone? I know Bolmeister should be back. He's like very likely to be back. Was he back? Oh, he was back last game. He's definitely gonna play. Yeah. I was like, wait, why do I feel like this is like not news?
He's been back. So I think right off the top, the power plays they ran last game were kind of strange. I don't know if they were just experimenting. Like, I promise you, by the time they got their first power play, the game was already over. Like, I'm pretty sure it was 3-0 before they even like looked up on the bench. So they may have just been running things out there, seeing what works. But the first power play was actually Parayko, Pietrangelo, Tarasenko, Stastny, and Tage Thompson. So assuming we get some news, they were practicing power play 2 today on Twitter. I found that, and basically what that showed me is that power play from last game could hold, as in the one I just listed out. So, that makes me interested in Parayko. I think he's kind of a bit too expensive. He's kind of been increasing from when Pietrangelo was out. But yeah, anyways, Parayko's price at 5.5 is a little bit silly, I think. So I'm not too interested in any of the defensemen here. But with that said, Vince Dunn played 20 minutes last game. Maybe that holds. 3.3 for a guy who's basically splitting top power play time. Again, a really, really strong matchup. I like that just fine. But nothing really is a must play for me on defense here.
That's fair. But what about on the Ottawa side? At least touch on them. Erik Karlsson, sub 6K. I know it's not maybe the best matchup in the world, but this guy can have 15 shot shots plus blocks kind of nights in these situations when we least expect it, maybe. So, sub 6K Eric Carlson, are you interested?
Yeah, just I think no. I
Yeah,
think
you think no?
I think no. Like I want to believe, but like it's tough. I mean, I think it's just really tough for me to basically spend on any defenseman not named Brent Burns. Like it's gotten to that point where like yes, he's a good $1,000 more than like the next tier of player basically, but Brent Burns is just unstoppable. And if you're looking to spend that much on defense, all the power to you. But I think I would choose other guys in that range over Carlson personally.
Okay, that's fair. Do we want to move on to Tampa Bay at Nashville, or is there anyone else on Ottawa? I know Stone might not play. Did we mention that?
Um,
I don't think we
yeah,
did.
no, I did not mention that Stone was not playing.
So there
So
could be a value guy for Ottawa, so I'd keep an eye on that. Well, get in the group me. We'll talk about it tomorrow if anything comes out. But Stone is at least day to day. I don't think he's very expected to play.
yeah, I think you covered that perfectly. Like you said, very not likely. Yeah, I don't think I'm going back to Hoffman here. Like he's one of those guys that I just roster night in and night out, like regardless of matchup. But I think there's just so many options here. It's such a bad matchup, and it's a back to back that I'm not going there. So Tampa Bay, Nashville. DJ, did you see the lines that they're rolling tonight? Do you have those up?
Um,
Or
Tampa Bay, I can get him back up. Um, hold
I was
on.
just gonna let you
I know I
speak.
no, I don't know how to speak. You speak.
All right. Well, they were so they rolled
That'd be
out
fine.
at least to begin the game. They played Kucherov with Point and Tyler Johnson. Also, the Andre Palat will be out for I think 4 to 6 weeks here. So that first line is just absolutely like they're the plays in my opinion. So that's exciting. Nashville, obviously, very, very tough matchup. Tampa's really just kind of been ice cold. I mean, even in the game they're playing right now, it's 1-0 Tampa, with the only goal being a Kunitz shorthanded goal. So, just
Go.
something, I think that's something to keep in mind. Like, this isn't exactly the same Tampa team that we've been used to. So, I don't know. I don't think I'll be going to that. Even let me say on FanDuel, Braden Point is a really good value. I think he's around the 6,000 mark, which on FanDuel is much different than 6,000 on DraftKings, at least from the comparables that I was looking at over the weekend. So do keep that in mind. On this Nashville side, though, I mean, we have Kevin Fiala going absolutely ham for, like, I mean, he just has these nights where he goes for basically, what, like 7, 8 DraftKings points. Super talented. No Forsberg. I mean, someone's got to carry the load, and it's pretty much been either him or Craig Smith or some of these defensemen just chipping in and just being really, really solid producers for decent values. I think they're getting more expensive as the season goes along. But does anyone on this Nashville side interest you on a probably a situation to exploit a team on a road back to back that people kind of usually don't target?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely leaning towards like Smith, and I'm almost thinking about going like Smith Fiala. I'm just trying to pull up their power play from last game, which could change. But did they go on the power play together? Do you know? Why can't I
I
find
believe
they
they
play?
did not. They just played
The
over the
last game was
weekend.
Florida. They
Yes.
played Florida, right?
Yep.
It was Arvidsson Smith were on the same unit on the power play. I think that could be an interesting way to get a bit contrarian. They did not play in the same line together, but I feel like a lot of people are going to either go with like just Fiala alone because he ends up going with Jan Krok and Benino, or maybe Arvidsson Johansson, which I don't think I'd really suggest. I really think Smith Arvidsson or Smith Fiala or Arvidsson Fiala, like those three, I think you should have a bit of each. But Smith Arvidsson correlate on the power play, and then maybe go with Subban as well if you're feeling like any of the defensemen. I mean, it's really the main three. There's a chance Ekholm plays tomorrow, but it's like up in the air. But I still think Subban's like a pretty decent play. He's a bit expensive, but I
Yeah,
don't know. It's like Subban.
I
That's like a
think my
boom.
favorite one-off play from this game is actually Roman Yossi. I just I'm kind of at the point where like, we were used to him being upper sixes and being pretty owned and being like the focal point for them. That really hasn't been the case lately. They're using Subban like on their nominal first unit with Johansson and Arvidsson. But Roman Yossi is still leading the team in minutes on a night-to-night basis. And I think he's kind of becoming due for one of those like massive games that we see. Every so often from a defenseman where they go, 5 shots on goal, 3 block shots, and a couple points, and there you go. Like that's the makings of a huge daily fantasy night. And he's one of the more capable guys of doing that in the NHL. So I like him as a one-off here.
That's fair. I don't mind that at all. I mean, I think Ryan Ellis is getting a bit expensive for my liking. Like he's way too expensive.
Right? Yeah, for
Is
sure.
it just me? Is it just me, or is it like
No, that is not just
super
you.
expensive? Oh my god. All right. Was there anyone on Tampa Bay that you wanted to mention, or is it kind of just like
No,
maybe go with Kucherov point or don't play him at all? Okay. Then why don't we
yeah.
just
I mean,
move on forward?
let me just say Sergachev is 4,900 playing about 20 minutes. Like he is playing on that top power play. I personally just don't have much interest in him. He's not a daily fantasy type defenseman. He doesn't really do what Hedman does, where Hedman like goes out there and he blocks a lot of shots and plays in all situations. Like that's not what Sergachev is. Um, so I wanted to point that out because he is a decent value, but someone that I'm really not interested, unless you're just doing an onslaught of Tampa. So, all right, Florida at Dallas. This
Hmm.
may be one of the most high-powered games on the night, just given Barkov, Huberdeau, Trocheck versus Sagan, Ben Radulov, and you're going to pay for them, but I think I can almost guarantee you that the Florida guys will be super low owned, and that Dallas will be no more owned than any other team on the slate. So, um, I have a little bit of interest here. It kind of sucks that Radulov has gone from the mid fives all the way up to 6.7 currently. Um, but an interesting way that you can still get some exposure to these studs on the Florida end. Evgeny Dadonov playing first power play and first line minutes alongside Barkov is 5.1. If you look at his last 3 games, he has 11 DraftKings points, 4.5, and 6, averaging just about 20 minutes across those 3 games. Like, he is playing a massive role for this team. And, I know Dallas is not a good matchup, but I'm very value dependent when it comes to building my teams. And when I can get exposure to a fantastic player in Barkov, a great one in Huberdeau, and a power play that's simply clicking for a team that uses their big guns as often as any other team in the league, I'm kind of privy to do it for 5.1. So I think that's my main play from this game. But again, all those studs I listed, any of them jump out or any value guys that you're looking at here?
I feel like for Florida, there's really no value guys I'm very interested in. I really think that they're kind of realizing the only way they have a chance to pull out some of these games is by riding those top players you already mentioned. So I think if you wanted to stray away from the Dadonov, Barkov, Huberdeau, Trocheck, it'd be kind of foolish. I don't think, and yeah, not a single offensive player got more than 15 minutes other than those four. Like they give them all of the ice time, they give them all of the opportunity. So I think those are the guys you're going to want to go with if you do decide to play Florida, which I don't think is a terrible call by any means. Like Dallas isn't great defensively, but they're definitely comparable. And then on the Dallas side, I mean, I don't know. I like the Dallas side. I don't know if I'm in love with a particular play in general, though. I know last game they trounced Buffalo, and I think it was a lot of the line two guys, but
Yeah.
Spezza is the guy I think that like people might land on because he did get that top power play time in the last game. But yeah, that's what I mean. Janmark is always kind of in my peripherals whenever I'm making a lineup. So those two.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Where
mention as well.
what is his
With
price? Jan Krok. Janmark,
yeah,
I mean.
Yanmark is 3,600,
Okay, 36
and
there.
yeah. So what I was, you mentioned Spezza. I think Spezza is going to be one of the more popular players on the slate here. Just because he's 3.9 and on the top power play for Dallas, which everyone loves to get a piece of. But the reason I think I may be willing to kind of follow the pack when it comes to Spezza is, like you mentioned, he's playing alongside Matthias Janmark. For the past few games, when Spezza came off the healthy scratch, he was playing on the first power play, but he was also playing on the fourth line for them. Like literally playing 10 minutes a night plus the power play time he was getting. That obviously that hasn't been the case. At least last game it wasn't. He played between Remi Elie and Matthias Janmark. So I really like that line in general. They're super cheap, and I think they'll get a decent amount of ice time against these depth players for Florida, who, as you mentioned, are not good. So I think that makes a lot of sense to kind of take a chalky player in Spezza, make him a little bit less, and make your lineup a little bit more contrarian by playing someone like Janmark, who's, he's averaging 3.4 fantasy points over his past 10. Like, yeah, he's shooting the puck obviously unsustainably well, but let me just guarantee you, Janmark is super talented. So, he has just as much upside as any player on the Stars, and he's super cheap. So maybe he takes last game's breakout and turns that into a more substantial role. And Spezza's first power play time obviously gets him some extra consideration as well for daily fantasy. So I like those two plays in particular.
Okay. Well, I guess lastly, anyone on defense that we would be pairing these guys with? I mean, the Florida defensemen, the top two have come back down to earth. Klingberg is way up there in prices. I'm hitting my desk by accident. And I know some people have been playing Esa. Is it Esa Lindell?
Yeah, Esa Lindell.
He's power play 2, has a decent shot plus blocks as of late, but I feel like he's kind of like maybe not the safest cash play by any means, kind of more like a boomer bust type of guy. I don't know if he's my favorite in that price range, and I think I'd probably try to get up to Yandle, right? I mean, Yandle can score from the red line, and maybe red line being center ice.
That was pretty amazing.
Just any thought there before we go to the next?
Not really, no. I do like Klingberg a lot. Like, he's on pace for like I think 78 points on the season. Like, he's been incredible. And so I think in a vacuum he makes perfect sense, but it's a huge slate. There's a ton of options. So I don't think I'll find myself landing on him all that often. So let's head over to Buffalo at Edmonton.
Oh boy.
Buffalo on a road back-to-back. Edmonton completely inept at the moment. So, I mean, rock, meet, hard place. Where do you go in this game? Do you just trust in McJesus that he will bring the Oilers to their righteous victory? Or do you look at it and say, they've not been good? You're not getting a great value on any of these Edmonton guys. Or do you look at it and say, yeah, Eichel's just going to say, fuck you, McDavid, and go nuts at 6.6,
This is a clean podcast, Matt. I will not be having that language tarnish our good name.
I mean, I did say McJesus, so I think that
makes up for it.
I did not think the Lord's name in vain.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it goes on with the 5-game point streak right now. Well, I mean, they're playing tonight. I don't think he has a point tonight, so it could end before this.
Right.
I don't know. I really struggle to say anyone's a good play in this game, to be honest. Like, I don't think I could land on one player. I know Draisaitl's been pretty hot. I don't despise him, but I don't think he's a great play at 6'3". Like, Eichel's right there for 300 more with way better shot metrics. God, this is a tough one. This is really tough because I really wanted to go all in on Edmonton maybe, and now I'm sitting there like, I mean, I think if you're going to go Edmonton, you're probably going Nurse and McJesus. Like, that's where you go. I think Strome did have power play one time, but that wasn't with a lot of 5-on-5 time. So I'm not. I know. I think
a lot of talent.
Some people are going to play him. Like, some people I think will have Ryan Strome tomorrow at 3-2. Like, he's a 3-2 center against Buffalo. I mean, that's all the convincing some people will need, but he's not very good. Oh boy, I think it's either you go with McDavid and I mean Kajula's on his line, but power play 2. But I think McDavid, Nurse, or you go Eichel solo.
Yeah, I mean I think it is. I think you always have to mention Pat Maroon playing alongside McDavid at 5-on-5. Interestingly, Maroon actually played on their first power play last game as well. He replaced Lucic on the top power play. Nurse also replaced Oscar Klefbom, in case obviously DJ just mentioned it, but Nurse has been playing first power play. Nurse has been one of the best defensemen in the NHL in blocks plus shots per game on the season. And we know from his kind of junior profile coming up that I think there's a lot more to his game than just a stodgy guy who blocks shots and, takes shots from out deep, a la like a Radko Gudas or something like that, how he's been playing. And so I think this first power play time may actually be the time for Nurse to kind of show that he can be a true number one defenseman. I'm not going to guarantee that he can, just because I don't know if he's got the hands, essentially. I don't know if he's that good with the puck, but he has a huge shot. I think he knows where to go. So I'm interested, especially in playing Nurse, but I think stacking that with Maroon and McDavid makes sense, given that their 5-on-5 should play together a lot, and also the power play units align for that as well. So I think that's my official take on the game. Let's
Fair
go
enough.
to LA Vancouver, bang out these last 4 games in record pace before heading into our Tuesdays. Vancouver gets Bo Horvat back they got him back over the weekend, and he played alongside of Besser and where did he go? Oh no, I was looking at Saturday's game and not Sunday's. I was like, I know Horvat played.
Barchi.
Yeah, he was playing with Besser and Berchi, so right back to the top power play unit with Besser, Edler, Sedin, and Sedin. So I think Horvat's price makes a little bit of sense. I think you can feel good about playing him there. I don't think he's a great play by any means, but LA's simply not been very good. We know Bo Horvat's he's not spectacular, but he's just a reliable player. And so I think for 4.7, that leaves him a lot of room for upside, and also gives him enough of a floor to the point where if he has a disappointing game by his standards, it won't be truly crushing to your team. So I like that angle. Any other angles that you want to attack here for LA Vancouver?
I think if you want to ride a game script of any kind, if you think LA is going to kind of like jump out to a lead and sit on a lead, then I think you'd probably want to go with Kopitar. I know I don't normally suggest him, and I think he's really, really overpriced. But if you really want to go into like tomorrow, you know what? I don't even feel comfortable suggesting this because his shot metrics have been so bad. But it does feel like when they get out to a lead, they found a way to sit on the lead by riding that line one. But I don't even think I can suggest this in good conscience. Actually, the more I look at it, I feel like I almost just want to fade this game completely.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. So
I was gonna go off, but you know what? Now I'm not even gonna go off on a tangent about Kopitar. I just feel like he's too expensive. Like I don't think you can pay that price.
Yeah, speaking of unable to pay the price, are we playing William Karlsson in the true revenge game of the century? William Karlsson against the team that let the best player in the NHL walk in the expansion draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets. William Karlsson, in case you haven't noticed, has 25 goals in 46 games this season. 25 goals.
It's Wild Bill Karlsson. I mean, obviously that's the way she goes.
What a world.
I mean, like, I just talked about Kopitar is too expensive. He's the same price as Wild Bill Karlsson.
Sport is so stupid.
Yeah, Billy Karlsson. I don't know if he might be the best play. I don't think. I think I'd probably go Kopitar over Karlsson, which I know is like. But I'm not going to play either. I think. The thing is at that price, like you got to go Barkov or Eichel. Like, there's really no other option. Like maybe Trocheck is a little cheaper even. Like those guys are so much more enticing to me than Karlsson or Kopitar. But now that I say that, those guys will both have hat tricks tomorrow. So get ready. Yeah, this game. For me, I mean, here's the problem: is I feel like we neglect to talk about Vegas as much as maybe we should because they just keep winning. But is there
William Karlsson is 6,800?
You're still not. I keep hearing you laughing. I'm like, is he gonna move on from this?
I just want to cry.
It's okay. I mean, we've talked about this so many times now. It's like That
never stops being entertaining.
I mean,
He's shooting 26%.
I, I don't think DraftKings cares. Like he just keeps getting points and like
Whew. All right.
I mean, at least Marcus was back down from 7,400 to 7,000. Like
Yeah, I mean, at least he has like I think he's like number 3 in the league in shots per 60 right now. So I mean, good for him.
yeah. I mean, but then again, like he's at the same price as like almost Tarasenko, so it's like
Yeah, no thanks. So yeah, I mean that's
okay, so
yeah, I'll just toe the company
back,
line here for Vegas. They're all way too expensive. If you want to play one, go with either Alex Tuck or Colin Miller, as both guys have shown pretty reasonable shot rates for their salaries and pretty substantial power play roles. Colin Miller pulled his best Ryan Pulak impression, which, oh my God, we have not talked about yet.
oh god.
Colin Miller went for 10.5 points on Sunday, right after Ryan Pulak, I think, went for 15 DraftKings points.
It was a lot.
It was literally
It
insane.
was a lot of points.
He had 5 real life points. Like it was quite literally like just nutso, bizarro land. So,
He's good at the hockey game, and we've been saying it all year.
yep. So, I mean, really great job by me for missing on both of those nights.
All right. Can we get to Columbus though? I mean, are we going to talk about them or?
I mean, do we have to?
I mean, no, but like, there's some decent price points. I feel like here.
I mean, there are, but they're also going against the best team in the NHL.
In the hardest arena to play in the NHL.
That is true. Who
Why
doesn't
Columbus play last?
Who doesn't know where the clubs are?
Oh my god, dude, I don't get this this Vegas thing. Like, I at first I was like, I don't know if it's gonna work, and then I was like, you know what? I kind of like this team. You know, they're pretty fun. They got a lot of defensemen that I like. I mean, they have Colin Miller and Theo Goat, and now I'm like, all right, they got to stop this. Like, I can't do this. I can't watch the Sabres be this bad. And watch Vegas be this good. Like, it doesn't make sense. All right. But can we talk about Columbus for like 1 minute? Is there or no?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about Columbus, I've done the heavy legwork for y'all. Zach Werenski and Pierre-Luc Dubois are both below the age of 21, so maybe they'll be saved from the Vegas flu. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everyone on the team who would be,
Dubois, who has put up 2 goose eggs in fantasy points over the last 2 games. Great call.
I mean, I'm just grasping at straws here because I just don't want to play any Columbus Blue Jackets. Like, they don't draw penalties.
I was actually thinking Werenski. What's the thing?
They play a terrible brand for DFS hockey, which is so disappointing because their 5-on-5 pace is actually really good, but like they literally just don't take penalties. So it's interesting to say the least.
All the I really feel like all the Blue Jackets are priced down because they're playing in Vegas. Like they're like trying to trick me. Like everyone. Josh Anderson's back to 5'4". I'm like, hey, Josh Anderson, I know you haven't scored lately, but could this be the time? All right, let's move on. I feel like that's one of those, like, if you want to get contrarian in GPP and go Columbus, like I think that's definitely something to consider, but maybe not the sharpest take ever. But I think if you want to get contrarian, no one's gonna have Columbus.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. So let's go to Anaheim versus the Rangers. Anaheim is currently minus 170. We don't have any, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines currently of the 12 games going on, but Anaheim's actually the biggest favorite to this point of the games that we have lines for. I think that's pretty warranted. The Rangers have been awful at containing opposing offenses. So, I mean, I really don't think that Raquel 6.7 is anything to write home about, but Cam Fowler 4.7 has been putting up numbers. Adam Henrique, after being promoted to the first line for Anaheim, I want to say he got a goal called off last game too against San Jose, but he has a goal or a point in each of his last 3 games with 8 shots between those games, playing a decent role at a really nice price. I like Adam Henrique a lot in any format as really nice Anaheim exposure here. But any interest in, some of the Anaheim guys that I touched on, or the Rangers, new top line and Nash Buchnevich and Zibanejad?
I mean, I think the only Ranger that I'm gonna kind of look into a bit is Brady Shea because he should get pretty big minutes and arguably power play. I mean, he definitely still can get power play time, but Shattenkirk's out for the foreseeable future.
Yep.
So I think Shea's minutes should go up, but he's a guy that I know has a good DFS profile. I mean, it seems like it's on and off with him, and maybe with Shattenkirk, he'll have to kind of take over that role because it feels like there's stretches where he's great. I know his points aren't great on the year, and he's maybe not the strongest play, but I'd keep an eye on him just for the future at least and see what he does over the next few games and after the All-Star break. But on the Anaheim side, yeah, I think they're stackable for sure. I think you can go in a number of ways. You could go. I mean, Henrique is on that top power play. I think him and Fowler is one way, or go Henrique, Fowler, and maybe Getzlaf or Raquel, or you could really go all four if you want to get crazy. It's definitely, it's like you're taking two pretty upper price guy with Getzlaf and Raquel, which might not be at their best times to take them. But you could get Fowler and Henrique at much cheaper prices. Really take four guys on one power play. I know that's like, I mean, that's kind of being very hopeful that the Rangers take a lot of penalties, but I don't think that's out of the realm completely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just about doing the kind of mental calculus of like, do you think they're decent plays at 5-on-5, or like, do you think there's a chance that they reach their floors without a ton of penalties, and then kind of let the penalties give an upside to your team?
Yeah.
I think that strategy of like onslaughting a team that you really like is probably something that should be utilized more, just given the random nature of how assists go in NHL. Pick a spot that you like and get as much good players, good values as exposure to that as you can. I did want to mention, though, you were talking about Brady Shea. Last game, Anthony D'Angelo, I'm not sure why he goes by Tony now. Maybe that's his wish.
Right.
Maybe it's not. It's kind of like the Sam Reinhart thing where his name is freaking Samson, but they don't call him Samson. So I had to name my cat Samson, who's right here.
They don't say him often because he never scores, so you never really know.
I mean, hey, he's hot. All right. So yeah, D'Angelo's actually, he played the second power play. He played top 4 minutes for them. Shea had no power play time and only 15 minutes against LA. So yeah, Chance the Rapper is very confused on what I just said. So
yes, he didn't understand a word.
And yeah, I think I covered my Anaheim interests pretty well. Henrique and Fowler, and obviously Montour. I mean, you can never just full fade Brandon Montour. You just have to have a little bit of him in case. You just
gotta give him a look.
Yeah, I mean, hey, remember what happened with Colin Miller and Ryan Pulock over the last 2 slates, and yeah, it's just
three.
Threatening you with that knowledge that Montour is going to go nuts sooner than later. All right, last game. The Fighting Brent Burns against Winnipeg. San Jose, I don't have much interest in them against Winnipeg, who I do really, really respect. I think they're a really good team. And again, I don't think I'll play anyone other than Brent Burns, but I think you're foolish if you're at least not penciling in Brent Burns first into your team. And I think you really have to convince yourself that, one, the correlations are worth it to not play Brent Burns, or two, that like you're playing really supreme value guys that are benefiting from injury news or usage news, because I'm not seeing any reason that Brent Burns should not be a play if you're running just one team or just a couple teams. 7.1 is just ridiculous for a guy who averages about 5 fantasy points a night and has immense upside. So I'll let you tackle the Winnipeg side if you want, or any of these other San Jose guys if you're interested.
I mean, the one thing I was looking at from Winnipeg, but now I'm almost wonder. I gotta look it up now. I had it up earlier, and I literally was closing out everything because I thought we were almost done. Is there any news on Scheifele? Why did I feel like?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so. No, okay, me either. But Jack Roslovic did get power play one time, but like, I don't know why they're not giving him like any 5-on-5 time. He had 11 total minutes, and I mean, a good 4 or 5 of those 11 minutes were power play one with Connor, Laine, Wheeler, and Bufflin. So I think if you're looking for like the ultimate punt, Roslovic might be there at 3-1. I don't really know San Jose's too penalty prone because you're really taking a gamble there. But that's just one note that I think we have to talk about, especially if there's something comes out tomorrow that Roslovic gets bumped up to the top 6 minutes. I mean, I doubt it, but I'd keep an eye out for it anyways. But I'm not very interested in Winnipeg. I'm not very interested in this game in general. I'm more interested in Brent Burns, as you mentioned. And I mean, if you're going to stack him with anyone, I think Hurdle's a fair price. I think he's definitely been a boomer bust kind of guy as of late. But I think in GPPs that's okay. Other than that, I'm kind of thinking that's where I'm looking right now, personally.
All right. So I think we're good on the game by game aspect of it. Do you have any of your stacks ready, or do you? Let's do 3 stacks and 2 guaranteed goals. Guaranteed goals, obviously, as we always do. And then I don't really think we have any updates or anything like pod wise. So let's just get out of here and into our Tuesdays. So top stacks.
Do you have one, or?
Yeah, I'll just take Tarasenko and whatever line he plays on. I'm not all that interested in their defensemen, so I'm really just gonna look at their morning skate. And if he plays with Stastny, I'll play Stastny Tarasenko. If he plays with Shen, I'll play Shen Tarasenko, and see who that other winger is, and if I'm interested. And if I'm not, I think Tage Thompson will be on the power play with Tarasenko as well, and he's a really good value. He's not a great play by any means, but I think he has enough talent. He has really good hands for a big body, and I think he makes sense as kind of like a stackable option along with Tarasenko.
Okay, I'm just gonna go with a pretty chalky take here and say Bergeron, Pasta, and I would consider Krug or, I don't know. I don't know. I think Krug is very GPP only at best. I don't even think you know what? Honestly, I'm not even gonna probably play Krug, so I'm not gonna say it. Maybe just those 2, and if you want to throw in Marchand for the full stack, you can. If news comes out that Matt Grzelcyk, is it Grzelcyk or how do you
I think it's just Grzelcyk.
Grzelcyk. It was one or the other. I knew it was one or the
idea.
other. I don't know why I thought Chuck was at the end of it for some reason, but I could be completely wrong. I know I heard the name recently too, and now it's like not coming to me. But if we get news that he's like power play 1 or something, like I definitely think he's in play, especially in cash where you could 2-9. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking that line will be in my lineups for tomorrow. So
okay, and I just want it's not as if any lines are going to be popular to the point where if you're only playing 5 to 10,
true.
If you're playing less than 10 teams, I would say really just don't worry about ownership. Like if you own a stack once, you're almost certainly going to trounce the field with that ownership percentage. So I think really you just have to play the guys that you're most keen on and kind of hone in on the spots where you feel the most strongly about. So with that said, kind of cheaper stack that I'm interested in. Man, these are always so tough. I feel like they're tougher on the bigger slates. I'll go with the Ducks. I'll go with Henrique and Fowler. I want to see who Henrique's been playing with at 5-on-5 because I feel like Kasha got the promotion. Okay, no, yeah, Kasha got the promotion to the Getzlaf Raquel line about halfway through last game, so probably just Henrique and Fowler. Maybe throw like a Montour in there, something just to get a little bit of correlation. Or obviously you can play Raquel if you're feeling just really frisky. But I think the price is a little bit too high there from a normal standpoint.
All right, and then I'll finish it. I'm definitely gonna have the stack tomorrow. I don't think it's one of your favorites, but the Max Pacioretty, Charles Hudon stack. I think it really is a great way to find some savings and some huge correlation. And do you think Colorado will come back down to earth? And I think if there's going to be a game where they come back down to earth, it'd be on the road in Montreal. I know Montreal had a 10-goal game. I don't want to say it was against Colorado, but I don't know why that's coming to my head.
It was Chicago, I think.
Chicago. I'll look it up kind of as we talk while you talk about something else. But like I just feel like it's not the worst way to get really good exposure to 2 very good shooters. I mean, they both have crazy good shots and both on the same power play. It's kind of like too good to be true, I feel like, where I kind of have to have it. Colorado on a back-to-back. And I think if I do make that lineup, which I will, I'll throw in Price with it, which is not a stack that I'm assuming I'll get an assist from. But I think Montreal getting a win, I think Colorado will still have some pretty good shots. So I think Price, if you're going to go with the Montreal guys, is a pretty savvy play at 7-3. I think if he gets the win, he definitely reaches value. So,
All right, so let's do some guaranteed goals here. Hmm, man, so tempting to go.
no, it was against Colorado. Ha.
Was it?
Yeah. Wait, that can't 10 goals. But then how could they possibly be playing at home again?
It was Columbus.
I mean, the picture is literally Colorado. I see Varlamov in net. Colorado exposed for 10 goals, continuing home dominance.
Colorado explodes for 10 goals.
Wait, no, Canadians explode for 10 goals.
Oh.
I'm reading the article. What? 2000,
Are you sure
December 11th, 2016. So that was not this year.
Yeah, that was last
That was a
season,
different time they scored 10 goals? Hold on. I looked it up and, it was Detroit. That was this year. Detroit was this year. That was before.
Okay.
That's why it was in my head. I was like, why is this in my head? Wow, that's crazy. They have 2 10-goal games in that.
And they literally cannot buy a goal on normal games.
All right, well, they're going to have all 10 to Hudon. No, I'm just kidding. All right, you got a guaranteed goal ready?
Yeah, I want to go with Tyler Seguin, and I want to go Patrick Maroon as well. It's a little. I think it's a little bit more than we normally spend, but if you really want to play hardball, I'll go with like a Barkov or Trocheck. I just feel like that Florida Dallas game, like we know where the scoring is going to come from, so I want to get some piece of it.
Okay.
So I think that's where I'm going to go.
Then I'll go with. Boy, I was going to say something. It feels real point, JC.
Oh, do it. Chase them points.
I was going to go Pasta and Dadonov, which is like just under 12. Wait, is it 5 and yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's like 11-9. But I was going to go Pastrnak and Dadonov. I really want Dadonov. I think he's definitely got the shot, and right now he's definitely putting the volume on net. I don't think Dallas is as strong defensively as it may seem. He's going to get minutes. So yeah, I like that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's also like even if they only scored 2 goals or something, like there's just such a disproportionate chance that like the studs in Florida are involved in it that I think it's worth that, taking into account the poor matchup. I still think it's worth playing them.
I think if there's one team you wanted to full on stack, like you could go with the Lime 1, Florida and Trocheck. It's really break the bank. It's really like you're going for, you need them to have a combined like 4 or 5 goals. But I mean, I think it could happen. It will happen one of these nights. I don't know if it's on the road in Dallas, but like those are the guys that I think if you're trying to like get the best possible like minutes together, all that kind of stuff, and just good offensive talent, like those 4 guys together are very, very good, all in the power play.
Yep.
And you get like 20 plus minutes each. So okay.
For sure. All right. So that is everything that we had to cover for this slate. Apologize for the marathon podcast.
I don't think it went that long.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Morningsgate Pod. Join our GroupMe if you are not in yet. I have not looked at the Listener League standings as of late, but promise you we are working on it behind the scenes. We will get everything. We'll get all of our ducks in a line, and maybe over the All-Star break, we'll set some stuff up to kind of reward the winner of last month and set it up going forward, how we're going to do things. So, yeah, anything you have to say before we head off?
I'm going to be 2 more podcasts for the All-Star break, and we'll definitely come back strong because I'm pretty sure we come back when the NBA goes on their All-Star break. So if we're looking to make a big push, it could be the time. Also, one more thing to note, something was wrong with iTunes, and we weren't getting any of the reviews people were sending, it sounded like. So I think we got a few, but some people said that like, the reviews weren't being posted. So if you did post a podcast review lately, it may have not gone up. So if you
would I need to approve them? If you know what's going on, let me know.
No, I don't know what's going on. I got in contact with iTunes, and then after I got in contact with them, like 3 went up. Let me.
Okay, I see.
One of them was mine, and one of them was Bobby Boom. I mean, mine was a test. I wrote great DFS pod, best one out there in my unbiased opinion. Um, and then they both and then Bobby, they both up at the same time. I don't know what's going on, but I guess you don't need to approve it then. But it should work now. And if it doesn't work, please let me know because it's very frustrating that they're not going up.
All right, cool. Well, when the slates are a bit less compact, we will read those reviews for sure. We'll save that for a less busy portion of our schedule. So, with that said, enjoy your Tuesday, everybody. Best of luck on this daily fantasy slate. So, from Doug, from DJ, from myself, have a good slate, everybody, and we will see ya.